Clash of Champions 2019 featured title defenses by every WWE champion, but did it feature good wrestling? Join us now as Wrestlelamia recaps this year's Clash of Champions pay-per-view and looks at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. Clash of Champions is coming to you from the Spectrum Center in Charlotte, North Carolina. On the kickoff show, Charlie Caruso interviews Kofi Kingston and Biggie about tonight's match for the New Day. Xavier Woods shows up and he says he's ready for action after being on the shelf for a month thanks to the Revival and Randy Orton. There's two matches on the kickoff, and the first is the Cruiserweight Championship match as champion Drew GULAK takes on Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado. Okay, to no one's surprise, the Cruiserweight Championship is defended on the pre-show, and once again it's a triple threat match. How's that for predictability? It was definitely an awesome display of athleticism, but it was a little bit botch-filled as Dorado missed her shooting star press and Humberto missed Drew GULAK by miles trying to land the Aztec press on him. In the end though, GULAK broke up the pin and hit the German suplex on Carrillo, covering him for the win. Zara Schreiber interviews Sasha Banks and Bayley about their title matches tonight, with Banks basically ignoring Schreiber and Bayley saying she's doing it all to make the SmackDown Women's Championship important. The second match of the kickoff show is the United States Championship match as champion AJ Styles takes on Cedric Alexander. Can you believe it? AJ on the pre-show. Yeah, crazy things are happening in 2019. AJ Styles sends his OC teammates backstage, so it really is one-on-one. Cedric gives it his all, but it's not enough as Styles ends the match after a phenomenal forearm and a Styles clash. But it wouldn't be an AJ Styles match without Styles and other members of the OC beating down Styles' opponent Cedric Alexander. That was the pre-show. Let's get into the main show as it opens up with the Raw Tag Team Championship match as champions Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman take on the team of Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. It's a tale of two newly formed teams, one which isn't functioning as a team and the other which is melded overnight into a formidable combination. Absolutely Glorious use their superior tag skills and a little luck to win this one as Roode hits a glorious DDT on Seth Rollins for the win. Yeah, he pinned the champion, and it was clean. This is the same guy who'd been chasing the 24/7 championship not just a month ago. Again, crazy WWE in 2019. After the match, Charlie Caruso interviews Braun Strowman about losing the tag straps, but Strowman corrects her, telling her Rollins lost them, just like he's gonna lose the Universal Championship later on tonight. The next match is a SmackDown Women's Championship match as champion Bayley takes on Charlotte Flair. The hugger looks like she's having trouble in Flair country, as Charlotte takes her to school. However, Bayley outwits Flair by removing a turnbuckle cover at the bottom and introducing Flair's head to it, covering her for the win. She definitely took a page out of Flair's dirty trick book. She didn't also stay in the ring for long, as she hightailed it out of there quicker than Earl Hebner did at Survivor Series 1997. Next up, the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match as champions The New Day of Xavier Woods and Biggie take on the Revival. This match tells the story of the New Day battling with Xavier Woods still recovering from his leg injury. A shadow machine outside the ring eliminates Biggie from the match, making Xavier Woods easy pickings for the Revival after a shatter machine and a leg lock on Woods forces a submission. A post-match interview sees the Revival mock the New Day and let the fans they won't have to deal with the tag team titles dipped in pancake batter, trombones or hip swivels. The Revival promise a Randy Orton WWE Championship win tonight to complete the ensemble. But after that, an interview with the Women's Tag Team Champions is cut short when a boom microphone shows up on camera and we see it's R-Truth masquerading as a sound technician along with Carmella. Bliss grabs the microphone and puts the word out that the champion is backstage, leading to a slew of would-be champions. That includes Drake Maverick racing after the champion. But the Women's Tag Team Championship match is up next as champions Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross take on Fire and Desire, aka Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose. Alexa Bliss is sporting a Harley Quinn look, but sadly no baseball bat. Bliss is in trouble, but Nikki saved the day, landing the hanging swinging neck breaker on Mandy and covering her for the win. The the champions retain. The next title on the line is the Intercontinental Championship, as champion Shinsuke Nakamura, who's with Sami Zayn, takes on The Miz. It's a fantastic match you'd expect from Nakamura and The Miz, with Zayn's interference helping Nakamura at just the right moment. A skull-crushing finale, and The Miz is ready to win his 9th Intercontinental Championship. However, Zayn distracts the referee, and when The Miz chases Zayn, Nakamura attacks his distracted opponent, ending things with the Kinshasa. Another champion retains. Next up is the Raw Women's Championship match, as champion Becky Lynch takes on Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch is out for one thing: revenge on Sasha Banks for her repeated sneak attacks and for trying to take the spot she's worked so hard to secure. Despite Banks' efforts, Lynch punishes her for most of the match, losing her temper and accidentally clobbering the referee with a steel chair. We're then notified that Sasha Banks wins by disqualification, but Lynch continues punishing Banks after the match, smashing her repeatedly with a chair before locking in the disarmer on Banks, using the chair for added leverage. Finally, WWE officials are able to free Banks, likely saving her career. Next up is the WWE Championship matches, as champion Kofi Kingston takes on Randy Orton. Orton is out to kill Kofi's WWE title reign and dream, but when Orton misses a punt kick, it's trouble in paradise and Kofi retains. The Street Profits hype Kofi's win and tomorrow's King of the Ring tournament. King Booker shows up to make his royal proclamation of who he thinks will win the tournament. Angelo Dawkins asks Booker to knight him, but Booker isn't having it and tells the Profits to get their minds right. There's video recaps of Roman Reigns' attack, and his match against Erick Rowan in a non-disqualification match is up next. Rowan gets the early advantage and has Roman on the ropes. However, the big dog mounts a comeback, making his way to victory until the unexpected arrival of Luke Harper, somebody we haven't seen for months. The Bludgeon Brothers double team Reigns, giving Rowan the win. Yeah, Roman lost. And the main event, as Universal Champion Seth Rollins takes on Braun Strowman. Seth does his best to overcome Strowman's incredible power and size advantage, but only when Strowman hurts his knee with a flying body press off the top rope does Rollins regain the advantage, hitting 4 curb stomps and a pedigree to win. Seth Rollins celebrates on the entrance ramp and it looks like the show's finished, but then all of a sudden the lights go out and the Fiend shows up, hitting Sister Abigail on the Universal Champion and then adding further punishment with a mandible claw as the Fiend makes his presence known. But that was a recap of the show. What about the good, the bad and the damn right ugly? Let's start off with the good, as number 1, Becky vs Banks over-delivers. Becky Lynch lost considerable momentum following her WrestleMania 35 win, largely thanks to an uninspired program against Lacey Evans, who, like Baron Corbin, just wasn't ready for a world title program. But whatever the momentum the man lost, she got it back, and even more thanks to a great match tonight with the Boss. Whether it was Lynch looking to beat down Banks for her recent attacks, or Banks' tricky use of 2 steel chairs to confuse the referee and get at Lynch, this match was a bona fide instant classic. Lynch and Banks proved that women's wrestling can match the intensity of any match between 2 men, and thankfully without blood, and in hindsight, should have main evented tonight's show. Number 2, terrific tag teams. The WWE really showed what it can do when it gives its tag teams time to work their matches and spend time telling tales in the ring. Every tag match had a story to it, beginning with Strowman and Rollins' shaky alliance, falling to the solid team of Roode and Ziggler, 2 random superstars that were put together, but who proved a good tag team can beat 2 great single stars. On a different note, the Revival battled a New Day who was coping with an injured member. The Revival targeted Xavier Woods' injured knee and capitalized on the team's weak link, winning the belt. The Women's Tag Team Championship match saw Nikki Cross rise to the occasion, saving her team from what looked like to be a defeat to Fire and Desire, but Cross proving her worth as Bliss's tag team partner. Number 3, the Revival's Revival. Tonight, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder showed once again that they can deliver in the ring, putting on a fantastic match against the New Day and showing why they're the heels during and after the match. While the WWE has its share of heels, the Revival stepped up their villain game, going for the submission win on an injured Xavier Woods when they could have easily just pinned him. Their post-match gloat fest was your proverbial adding insult to injury moment, enraging the fans and getting them over as true heels. Number 4, a magical manager. Sami Zayn's main roster career has been a major disappointment, so much that Wrestlelamia recently made a video about it. Be sure to check that out if you have time. Tonight, however, was Sami Zayn's night to shine as a manager, adding so much to an already excellent Shinsuke Nakamura vs Miz match. Granted, Sammy's early portion of the match where he grabbed a microphone and called the action was enough to make fans hit the mute button, but once his troubling spot ended, Zayn played the role of a heel manager to perfection, distracting The Miz at just the right moment and giving his man the edge he needed to turn the tide in his favour. Number 5. Bad start, good finish. Clash of Champions' penultimate and final matches looked to be headed south, as even we were hitting the snooze button, but both were saved by strong finishes. Rowan vs Reigns was a basic brawl that didn't offer much until Roman staged his comeback, using camera equipment to clobber Rowan. But Luke Harper's surprise return made the match one to remember and to keep the fans guessing what's next for the Bludgeon Brothers. Likewise, the boring Strowman vs Rollins match was largely saved by the Fiend's post-match attack on Rollins. And number 6. A fiendish finish. Although everyone predicted the Fiend's attack on Rollins, no one knew just when, and for a moment it looked like Clash of Champions would end without his arrival. We don't say this one often, but the WWE just got it right tonight, as their timing for the Fiend's attack was perfectly executed, leaving fans wondering what's next for the WWE's most promising villain. If that was the good, what about the bad? As number 1, wrestling by the minute. If you like short matches featuring wrestlers that can put on long, entertaining matches, tonight's show certainly delivered. The AJ Styles vs Cedric Alexander match almost made it to 5 minutes, while Charlotte vs Bayley couldn't even go 4 minutes. Both matches could have been fantastic if they were given some time. The 20-minute Kofi vs Orton match could have been trimmed by 5 to 7 minutes too, another example of the poor planning that hindered the show at times. Number 2. Where's my pay-per-view? According to Ringside News, fans reported problems accessing tonight's pay-per-view, perhaps further evidence that the WWE's network's new software still needs to be overhauled. We don't know how many fans missed the show, but if it's a significant number, they certainly need to fix this before Hell in a Cell. And number 3, a major mistiming mistake. No, Wrestlelamia isn't talking about the botches in tonight's matches. Don't worry, we'll be doing a separate video on that. But the inexplicable decision to air the WWE Championship match after Becky Lynch vs Sasha Banks. Frankly, no match could have followed this, but the WWE would have been wiser in putting their Women's Tag Team Championship match afterwards. Not a match that's supposed to feature one of the company's most prestigious titles. It didn't help that Randy Orton phoned it in, putting on his usual by-the-numbers match as opposed to the excellent effort he put into his SummerSlam bout against Kofi. But that was the good, the bad. What about the downright ugly? As we've only got really one gripe, and maybe we're nitpicking, but there was some awful announcing. The first half of Clash of Champions featured some of the worst announcing heard in some time, with Corey Graves taking his heel announcer role to obnoxious levels. A good heel commentator is supposed to give the fans a few laughs and or annoy them, but it's not good when he wants them to mute the audio or just tune out. The Raw announce team was good, but SmackDown was awful, or in this case, downright ugly. Overall, while Clash of Champions wasn't as good as Extreme Rules or SummerSlam, it was certainly an enjoyable show that offered hope the WWE is beginning to turn the corner, or at least when it comes to pay-per-views. But there you have it guys, our recap for Clash of Champions, as well as the good, the bad and the downright ugly. Did you guys watch the show? And if so, what did you think of the pay-per-view? Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.